Batman's greatest strength isn't his suit or his fist, it's the line he refused to cross, and that line appears in the Bible long before Gotham ever existed. In this video, I will explore the parallels between one of my favorite superheroes, the Dark Knight, and stories from the Bible, extracting wisdom from both and translating it into lessons we can apply in our daily lives. Suit up for our journey towards becoming the best version of ourselves. Soul in the beat, that's how I grow. Mario Fresco, feel that sound. So Bruce Wayne watches his parents die in front of him as a child. That moment scars him for life. Instead of becoming a criminal, instead of giving it into hatred, he disciplines himself, he becomes Batman. But here's the important part. Batman has the power to kill his enemies. Yet he chooses not to, because he knows the moment he crosses the line, he becomes the very thing he's fighting.
If I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
So he doesn't rule Gotham, he watches over it. Which is one of the many reasons why I myself and billion others love Batman so much. He is flesh and blood like us, he can become a criminal, corrupt, with all his money, which is one of the many reasons why myself and billion of others love Batman so much. He is flesh and blood like us, he can become a criminal, corrupt with all his money, but it is his heart. His moral, his character chose to protect his city instead, while many others could easily lose it and become criminal. So in the Bible, King David had the chance to kill Saul, his enemy, but he refused to. Not because Saul was innocent, but because David knew that power without restraint corrupts the soul. Yeshua in the wilderness was offered power, control, instant victory by the devil, and yet he refused every shortcut. And in Ezekiel, God speaks of the watchman, the one who sees danger and chooses to stand guard not for glory, but for responsibility. Batman is that watchman. Now we are going to the 3 wisdoms from Batman and the Bible teaches us. The first wisdom, true strength is restraint. Batman's strength is not his fist, it is his self-control. From Proverbs 16:32, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. Samuel 24:6, the Lord forbid that I should do such a thing to my master. I will not lay my hand on him. So the Bible says, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. Implementation, set one boundary you will never cross, even if it costs you winning, because character lasts longer than victory. Wisdom 2. You cannot defeat darkness by becoming darker. Batman knows if he kills, he will lose himself. Now in the Bible, Romans 12:21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Matthew 5:39, if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheeks also. And James 1:20, human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. So the Bible teaches to not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Implementation, when you are hurt, pause. Respond with intention, not impulse. Justice is not revenge, it is discipline. Wisdom 3. Responsibility begins when awareness begins. Batman does not save everyone, but he refused to ignore what he sees. Ezekiel 33:7, Son of man, I have made you a watchman. When you hear my word, you must warn them. Luke 12:48, from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. James 4:17, if anyone knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is a sin for them. So in the Bible, the watchman is accountable not for fixing everything, but rather for warning, standing, and staying faithful. So the implementation is, find your post, your family, your work, your truth, your values. Guard it, even when no one is watching. But it means you actually stand up for yourself. If you see there's something wrong, say about it, warn someone. So Batman teaches us something ancient. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to be powerful. You need restraint, you need responsibility, you need the courage to stand in the dark without becoming it. Because the greatest battle is not against villains, it is against the part of us that wants to cross the line. Now for the ending, for people who is going to sleep, here is a story about David. So Samuel 24, David and Saul. There was once a man named David. He was young, he was skilled, and he was anointed to be king, though almost no one knew it. But the man who sat on the throne, King Saul, was afraid. Afraid of losing power, afraid of losing control, afraid of David. So Saul gathered an army and hunted David through the wilderness, not because David had done wrong, but because Saul was feared what David represented. David ran, he hid, he survived in caves and mountains, always watched, always hunted, until one day everything changed. Saul entered a cave to rest, unaware that deep inside that same cave, David and his men were hiding in the shadows. The air was still. The moment was silent. David's men whispered to him, "This is it. This is the moment God promised. Your enemy is in your hands." David stood up. He crept forward, quietly, carefully, close enough to kill Saul without a sound. One move, and it would all be over. No more running, no more fear, no more injustice. But David stopped. Instead of striking Saul, he reached out and cut a small piece from the king's robe, and then he stepped back into the darkness. After Saul left the cave, David followed him outside. He called out the king and bowed, and he said, "My lord the king, I could have killed you today, but I will not lay my hand on you. You haunt me, yet I have done you no wrong. May God judge between us, but my hand will not touch you." Saul stood in silence, and for a moment the king wept. David walked away that day, still hunted, still in danger, but with his soul intact. He chose restraint over revenge, character over victory, justice over impulse. So why this story matters? This is not a story about weakness. It is a story about a man who had power and chose discipline. Just like Batman. Batman has the strength to kill, but he refuses because he knows the moment he crosses that line, he becomes what he's fighting. He will become that same evil or darkness that he's trying to fight against. And David understood the same truth. I mean, to be honest, kill the Joker. I'm just saying. I mean, like, no one's gonna miss Joker. Like, the amount of people who killed, the amount of people that the Joker killed, like, or at least allow the police unalive the Joker. I'm just saying, like, that's me. Anyways, this was the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you either have a nice day or a good night and sleep well and take care. And always remember, face your own darkness before you can face the world. Have a good one. Soul in the beat, that's how I grow. Mario Fresco, feel that sound. Heart of a lion, spirit profound. From the street to the scrolls, I blend it all. Modern, so divine, call love.